difference. It's what a city like Nashville chooses to make its priorities that will in fact get accomplished. And so if a person wants to contribute, if a person wants to make a difference in their neighborhood, in their community, and for their own neighbors, then the place that a person should try to do that at this time in our history is as the mayor. And my belief then, and as I began this campaign, it was just as strong as it is today, that this is the role that I believe I can contribute the most in, and believe in the months and years ahead will make the largest difference for the things and the people that I care most about.
Now, in the upcoming election, in the August election, there are several issues that I'm sure that will be of some importance. But let's have you, at the same time, to give us some information about what you consider to be the major issues within this upcoming political campaign, and perhaps some of your views in reference to that, so that we can at least get some idea as to your directions and what you're planning on doing here.
Well, in August of 1997, I made a public announcement that I would seek the office of mayor of Nashville. And at that time, I laid out what I believed would be most on the minds of the people of Nashville and most critical for our city in the years ahead. And I would say to you today that those issues are the same. And in fact, as I have listened both to the people of Nashville and even to those who are seeking this same position, I think it's fairly clear that I was right at that time. Public education is critical to a city like Nashville. All of our schools need to be good schools. My daughter is in the 5th grade here in the public schools of Nashville and has spent her entire career as a student in those public schools. She started not far from this studio at what's now known as Buena Vista Jones Padea Magnet School. And for 5 years, Jessie studied with a great group of kids and teachers there at 9th and Buchanan in the old Jones School building. And I learned a lot, I think, both as a parent and as a policymaker about what it is that we need to do to make sure that all of our schools in this whole big city, elementary, middle, and high schools, are good schools, are schools that provide not just a place to learn, but also a promise of a future. We need those kinds of schools if we're going to hold the people that we have, hold the jobs that we have, and continue to grow economically in this city. I think public safety remains and will remain, should remain at the top of the list. It's a daily concern of a mayor, and we ought to recognize, as we do today, and never let it get out of our minds or out of our hands again, that the whole large city has to be safe. Wherever you live, wherever you work, wherever you go to school, wherever you shop, it has to be safe. Wherever it happens and to whomever it happens, whenever crime occurs, it affects the whole larger city. And it seems to me absolutely clear that we need to stay focused in that way and make sure that everyone who works for the city, who cares about the city, keeps that foremost in their minds. Right now, we find those crime levels decreasing. Chief Turner has done a special job, I think, in bringing together both the department and the other players in this effort. But it must never again, I believe, leave the top of the list of concerns of a mayor and of city government generally. And the third set of issues really revolve around quality of life. Because Nashville is a city now with all kinds of opportunities. But I think there's a sense out there that it could get away from us. There's a sense that even as we grow and see lots of new things and opportunities come into our city, that we have the potential at least to lose those things that are special to Nashville. So whether it's transportation, which is increasingly difficult for people of all income levels to successfully navigate this city, get from place to place, we need to stay focused on that. The provision of green spaces, both in parks and greenways, critical, it seems to me, to the development of a city and the maintenance of quality of life within that city. I think affordable housing absolutely is an issue that has got to remain very strongly before the whole large city. Just this morning, you know that Chris Farrell, Councilman at Large, and Reverend Bill Barnes and others held a rather remarkable summit on the subject of housing and set a goal that in 10 years, everyone in Nashville would have the ability, if they chose, to have a home or rent a home that they felt met their needs in order to live in this city. That's a goal that we ought to absolutely meet, and it seems to me ought to be high on the list of quality of life issues for the next mayor. There are a lot of different things. An economic base that provides work and opportunity for people here within the city. The potential not only to have a job, but to have a job that leads you to the knowledge that you can expand both your own experiences and your own, frankly, your own financial success and assets, so that you can become continuously more and a greater part of this community. That ought to be a promise that is made to every child and every adult within our city. Unemployment's low, but in order to maintain growth and maintain progress, everyone in the whole large city has to know that there will be good work and increasingly good work available to them. Many other things go into quality of life, but the critical thing here, I think, in all three of those subjects is to be sure that we stay focused on the people who live here.
Very good. And let me thank you during this first segment for giving us that kind of information dealing with your campaign. And what we're going to do now, we're going to take our first commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll give you an opportunity to sort of expand upon some of the areas that you've already laid out in terms of housing, in terms of public safety, and some of those areas during the second and the third segment. And we'll be back with you following this short commercial break.